Hola y bienvenidos a DEUCES WILD, motherfuckers!
Oh, hello there, EB. Leading
Thrill.
into our title sponsor, there has been quite a bit of stuff going on in the chat room as to when EB was going to appear. So we have a betting pool going on, and it is officially 6:10 out there on the West Coast. So I know somebody said 6:11. They were real close. I don't know if anybody said 6:10. So
Yeah, the question becomes, did anybody guess 610? And also the question becomes, Thrill, will our title sponsor, Bet Online, have an actual line as to what time I will come on? I think we should just go over under, right?
yeah, I think we should go over and under. And I don't know, one of our chat room people has to be a true better, and y'all might have to place the bets for us because I don't know anything about it. So, but
Yeah, but sometimes you just let the degenerates take care of that for you.
that's right. But being our title sponsor of Bet Online.
It is the number one online gambling destination for all the news, scores, odds, predictions. Go to Bet Online right now. We have the NFL in full swing, college football in full swing, college hoops is getting going. Don't forget, I got to imagine somewhere along the way within Major League Baseball, you possibly could even bet on Manager of the Year, Rookie of the Year, which both of those have already been revealed. We have the MVP award coming up, but Bet Online, it's got fucking everything for you, dude. Whatever you want to bet on, two frogs, fucking that line might even be there too.
Hey, another thing too. Let's while we're talking about two frogs, you're always giving me grief about being in BFE, Louisiana, but you're in Technology Central California, and your shit never works. So what's up with that? Maybe I ought to give you grief about being in Greater fucking Truckee and not having shit hooked up, or being in Cabo and not being able to hook that shit up.
Well, I think right now the Cabo's a whole different beat. I think right now, I mean, hopefully you guys can hear me fine. Our video might go in and out every now and again. That's just the internet, but
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Mine never goes out. You're the one that's always having problems.
that's 1,000% debatable, and we all know, Phil, you
Hey, I
are
talked to
in
everybody. I talked to everybody in
backwoods.
the chat room the other day. They were like, "EB went out. You didn't go out." I was like, I knew it. I knew it."
Well, yeah, that was a Cabo thing. That was a disaster.
Yeah.
So, Thrill, I want to start with this because it's just like I'm having this recollection. I want to let you know, dude, that when I coached the California team in the All-State games out in Houston, dude, we got to play Louisiana.
Yeah. Yeah. How'd y'all do?
We sent them the fuck home.
Oh, there you go. Get out of here. Take it to the house.
They're good. They're good players, though. They actually have a nice, solid crew. Mike Fontenot, his
Oh,
kid was on that team. What
nice.
a genuine guy, man. I
Nice.
really like him.
Mike's a good dude, man. He's a good dude. He lives here in Baton Rouge. I don't see him all the time, but I see him once a year or so. And really good dude, man. I like Mike a lot.
You know how many people ask me about the show?
Oh God,
Everybody.
probably as many as they ask me when I'm in like California and stuff. They're like, "Dude, you and EB are killing it, man. Y'all need to keep it going." And I said, "Well, why don't y'all come on to the show?" No, we just freaking watching the TikToks. I'm like, come on a show.
No, that's it. They do that, and they do the downloads on Apple and Spotify and everything else.
There you go.
As you know, like we like our live viewers. I kind of appreciate the fact that we don't have to deal with hundreds or thousands because we have our same crew in here that shows up. They talk their shit. They get recognized, and so it's not overwhelming. It's very boutique. But I will say that it's something about, and I don't know if it's because I'm the California guy, so whenever I'm in the South, people feel this connection to you. And so then they immediately go to me and they're like, You're the guy that does the podcast with Will Clark. Oh, fuck, man. This is amazing.
That's fun stuff right there. That's fun stuff. Hey,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
so when we talked last week, you were doing your baseball stuff, and then you left and you went to California, which we'll talk about later. But we had some big news that you alluded to earlier about Manager of the Year and Rookie of the Year. So let's hit those, brother. Let's hit those.
Hey, man. You know what? Let me do it. This is called
God.
the Trump dance. It's been happening, dude.
Hey, Nora, ignore him. Nora,
Nick
ignore
Bosa
him.
pulled it out. You had Polshanik pull it out. Everybody, man, they're pulling the.
Oh my
God!
All right, all right,
These are people, man. These are people. So good.
You are such a goofball. You are such a goofball.
I did not plan on pulling that out, but I saw Bosa do the Trump dance, and I figured so many people out here, big time.
Hey,
Trump
there you go. There you go. So
we got America. We love our president-elect.
Hey, so we did the old baseball manager of the year, and we had Stephen Vogt in the American League with the Guardians, who, by the way, was also a candidate for the Giants job before Bob Melvin got it. And then in the National League, we had Pat Murphy of the Brewers that did a real good job with that team over there.
Yeah, so very interesting. You had Stephen Vogt win the Manager of the Year. The three finalists all came from the American League Central. Yeah, right. You had not only Stephen Vogt, but you had AJ Hinch, who, in my opinion, did the best job of all of them. And Stephen Vogt, wire to wire, certainly was the American League Manager of the Year. AJ Hinch, facing elimination like you're done, dude. You have a 0.5% chance of making the playoffs. 0.5, not a 5% chance, 0.5. And to go from that with one starting pitcher and then to piece together and mix and match and bullpen a lineup that was ever shifting, and he found a formula that worked, some crazy Stanford shit that I don't know where he pulled it out of, maybe his ass, maybe the algorithms, but he also had a good human feel to it. AJ Hinch, in my opinion, should have been the Manager of the Year, but it was Stephen Vogt, and he did a terrific job. So let's give him
job. And you know what? You can make arguments for a lot of people, and it's just like when they pick the All-Star teams, believe it or not. I mean, somebody gets the shaft, and that's just the way it happens in this modern day voting, the way it's picked, whatever. Somebody's going to get the shaft, and it was Mr. Hinch this year, but he did a great job, and especially the second half of the year, which is, as we talked about, not only the Detroit Tigers, but the San Diego Padres. They went on those rolls at the end of the year, and that's what propelled them into the playoffs. So congratulations to both of those gentlemen right there.
So the other guy thrilled the American League that was one of the finalists was Matt Quatraro. This guy did a fantastic job with the Royals, who had a 86-76 record, which was a remarkable 30-win turnaround. They lost 106 games last season. So just a tip of the cap to Quatraro and what he did in Kansas City.
Unbelievable. The turnaround and getting that proud organization back in the win column was pretty awesome. Arguably one of the best players in baseball right now, Bobby Witt Jr. And, we even made fun of him last week with Salvador Perez. But, they found a way to get it done. They had some pitching step up at the right time. And like I said, Bobby Witt just had a monster year. And the manager, as you were just talking about just now, touched all of the right buttons to get him into the playoffs.
And that's what it's all about. Okay, in the National League, the three finalists were Carlos Mendoza of the Mets, Mike Schilt of the Padres and Pat Murphy of the Brewers. The winner, Pat Murphy.
Pat Murphy.
Former Notre Dame baseball coach. If the legend is true, he showed up on the doorstep of the Notre Dame athletic director's office and is like, "What are you doing here, dude?" And he goes, "I'm Pat Murphy, your new head baseball coach." He's like, "Well, okay." Ended up getting hired at Notre Dame, went from Notre Dame to Arizona State, where he was the head coach when I was at UCLA. He then went into professional baseball, actually managed the Padres for a short period of time.
Yeah.
He was a long-time minor league manager, a baseball lifer. I think a quality dude, a competitor, no nonsense, no bullshit. Craig Counsell, when he got the job with the Brewers, is like, "You're my guy." Goes to the Brewers. Counsell obviously left for, I don't know, 8 million reasons a season to go to Chicago. Pat Murphy's been around this game too long. He's like, I'm just not going to fuck anything up. Ends up having a terrific year. Brewers far exceed expectations. And Jackson Chourio comes onto the scene as a Rookie of the Year candidate. So big in what they did after they lost, or what he did after they lost Christian Yelich. But overall, the Brewers, another great season. It seems like they're in the playoffs every fucking year. And Pat Murphy, again, far exceeded expectations. Just 79 projected wins, and they ended up far better than that.
Totally agree. I can't even better what you just said. I mean, good Lord. I mean, from where Pat came to where he is now, he basically was handed the keys to the castle, and like you said, without, he didn't want to screw it up. He wanted to just keep the car on the road, going down the path the right way, and he did. And the Brewers had a really good year, very consistent year, and another playoff team. So, but the second part of that question is Mr. Stilt, who came from St. Louis, a proud winning organization. And as we just said, I mean, he got the Padres turned around in that second half. They were arguably, besides them and Detroit, the second half of the year, they were the best two teams in Major League Baseball as far as winning percentage and how they were going about playing and beating people. So, congratulations to all those guys, and especially Pat for winning it.
Yeah, dude, Schilt was interesting because he left the Cardinals for philosophical differences with John Mozeliak and the front office, and it didn't sit right. Like, you knew there was something more there, and I'm not going to take sides. Schilt's a baseball guy. Schilt's a guy that, you could see, of course, embracing analytics and stuff, but I could also see him telling the analytics guys to get the fuck out.
Yeah, no.
I mean, he's got some old school in him. A little more fiery than Bob Melvin. So, people say, "Oh, hey, we got the right manager in here, and Bob Melvin's gone." And yeah, dude, I'm not gonna go that far. Like,
no, don't go that far.
And I would not pick. I still, knowing what I know, I played for Bob Melvin. I'm not picking Schilt over Melvin. Now,
hey, look,
that's because I played for Melvin, and I know how much of a player's manager Melvin is, and I appreciated that, and I fucking loved playing for him.
Yeah.
So, if you want to know how good of a manager somebody is, talk to the players.
Yeah.
I'm serious, right?
Yep.
So I would ask you right now, and it's, No Filter Network, who's the best manager you ever played for?
Oh, God. That's a pretty damn good one, because I had Roger Craig. I had him for 8 years. He was like my dad, but, he kind of got stuck in a little rut there where, people were able to guess with him and stuff. The two guys I really enjoyed playing for, and they were two different individuals, was Dusty Baker and Tony La Russa. Tony La Russa was a veteran dude. He handed the keys of the castle to the players, and he said, "Hey, you guys take care of this. This is your clubhouse. This is your team. You go about getting it done. Here's all the information you need right here." And, Dusty was the other side of the coin. Dusty was a player's dude. Dusty was like, had been there, done that, talked to the players like, he was their brother, instead of their manager. And, Dusty was my hitting instructor for 5 years before he became my manager. So he and I are like two peas in a pod. But both both of those individuals knew exactly what the shit they were doing. In the managerial box. So
okay, well, let's do this then. Let's play a game. Your new favorite game.
Oh, my new favorite game.
Cut.
The one. What
Roger
is it?
Craig,
Whatever.
Dusty Baker, Tony La Russa. Go.
And who was the first one? Roger Craig?
Roger Craig,
All right.
Tony La Russa, Dusty Baker.
All right.
Cut.
I love Roger Craig, but he gets cut. Sorry, you kept getting guessed with. People were messing with you. All right. So you got Dusty and you got Tony. All right. I love both of them to death, but Tony is an animal rights activist and he always was screwing me with PETA and all that sort of shit. So I'm going with Dusty and Tony, you're the backup.
Tony! The PETA come back to bite him in the ass.
Dude, he comes up to me one day. I hadn't been in St. Louis in I hadn't been there a week. And I'm sitting in my locker, while the other team's taking batting practice, and I don't know. I got one of them outdoor magazines like Field and Stream or something like that. And I'm just going through it and I'm reading an article or whatever. And there's this hand comes over the top of me and grabs my magazine and freaking throws it in the trash. And it's Tony La Russa. And I turned around and I go, "Hey, you tree-hugging fucker, give me my magazine back." Oh, shit. We laugh and giggle about that till this day. Another thing, too. He had this foundation. It was ARF, ARF, and it had to do with dogs and stuff like that, right? And
Animal Rights Foundation.
Exactly. And so every year he hit me up for a bat or something like that, to auction off for his foundation. So I took care of him, and one day, this was spring training. We had some rookie out on the mound. The guy's scared shitless, right? And he runs a fastball in on, I forget, it was McGuire or Canseco, one of them, and he nicks him. I mean, barely hits him, and he comes down to first base, and I said, "Hey," "that guy's shitting his pants right now." He goes, "I know." He goes, "But you better watch out." And I go, "Why?" I said, "It was a freaking accident." He goes, "Tony doesn't play that game." He said, "He don't care if it's spring training or not." So sure enough, next time up, boom, I caught one in the ribs, right? And so I get down to first base and there's McGuire right there. And I said, "You tell that tree-hugging motherfucker that he'll never get an autograph bat for his foundation." He just fucking lost that one right there.
Oh, dude.
So those are two Tony La Russa stories. I love him to death. He and I freaking talk like this all the time. But in the heat of the moment, it was like, hell, got him.
That is so good, man. It really is. It's funny because Tony La Russa in 2007 kept me off the All-Star team when I clearly had earned my spot. And the next year, he asked me to participate in the ARF event.
Oh, the golf tournament and all that?
I don't know. Fuck, man. I went and signed some autographs and did some shit.
All right. I got you.
I had a real tough time going. I did. And look, man, when you get burned in some capacity, not a manager throws at you, he keeps you off an all-star team. We're all human, right?
Yeah.
And we all got a little fuck you in us.
Oh,
now,
yeah, by far.
I actually thought to myself, this is my release. This is my way of forgiving Tony so I don't have to walk around with this fucking hatred of a dude that absolutely fucked me out of my first All-Star game. So, thanks, Tony.
Shoot, that's funny.
Yeah, right. I enjoyed him though. Every conversation I've ever had with Tony.
Yeah, no,
guy. I do like the old school manager in him. The White Sox bringing him back last year was a bit aggressive.
Yeah,
that went over like wildfire.
Yeah, no. So we got through with the manager. Let's go to the old rookie OD year. So In the National League, no surprise to anybody, it was Paul Skeens with the Pirates. Got called up, not coming out of spring training, but he got called up a little bit later after he had pretty much dominated Double A and Triple A, and wound up going 11-3 with a sub-2 ERA, 170 punchouts. Started the All-Star game as a rookie, so this was pretty much, a no-brainer there.
Yeah. So, Thrill, here's a few stats on Paul Skeens that I think you would appreciate. He, ready for this? He won Paul Skeens, he just went on the most dominant 512-day stretch in sports history. This is from Parker Doyle. It's a tweet that he sent out. He won the College World Series. He won the College World Series MVP. He got drafted number 1 overall in the MLB draft. He had a relationship with Livy Dunn, who is a social media star, LSU gymnast. This whole thing goes public. He was called up to Major League Baseball, right, to the Pirates in just 10 months. He became an all-star in just 11 games. He went undefeated in his first 10 starts. He was a starting pitcher in the All-Star game. He was named as a NL Cy Young Award finalist and named the National League Rookie of the Year. This is a guy that went to Air Force, ended up leaving there, realizing that he's not going to be able to stick around and fulfill his commitment long enough. Obviously, took the NIL money to go to LSU, but you can't blame him for that. He was a two-way player at Air Force. There's a lot to fucking like about Paul Skeens, including the dirt squirrel on his upper lip that he continues to rock.
That's all you care about is dirt squirrels. That's why you won't change my picture on the frickin' No Filter Network, you bastard.
You need to talk to Leslie, Thrill. I can't help
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna send Leslie a new picture. I'm gonna say, Leslie, just stick it on there.
Oh, dude.
Don't even ask EB. Don't even ask Jose Pepe Manuele. Just stick it on there. All right, so that was Mr. Skeens. What about the American League?
Well, the American League ended up being a guy that is, we had a 3.5 ERA. It was meh, right? Like, I don't know. Is Gil from the Yankees? He had some dominant stretches, but it wasn't great. It's the National League, in my opinion, was a lot better. Now, because you had Jackson Merrill and Jackson Churio right behind Skeens. Yeah. I think it was Jackson Merrill that I got a couple first place votes. You knew it was going to Skeens the whole time. Now, the difference, though, in the American League was the fact that you had some other dudes, primarily Colton Cowser from our Baltimore
Orioles.
Yeah, he came in at a very close second place.
Yeah. And so, you had Skeens who had all the first place votes, Merrill had the second place votes, and Jackson Churio had the third place votes. But for Gil and Cowser, they had like all kinds of different votes all over the place. So, it was interesting.
For Gil, 13 first for Cowser, 10 second for Gil, 11 second for Cowser. There was 1/3 for Gil, and then 3/3 for Cowser. And then you had Austin Wells, the Yankees catcher, with a fucking raccoon on his upper lip. That got for days. Mason Miller, the closer for the A's, who had 1 first place vote. Cade Smith, the Guardians reliever, I believe, had 1 first place vote. You had Weiler Abreu from the Red Sox. He had some votes. And then Wyatt Langford from the Rangers. I like Wyatt Langford. He had 1 second place vote and 4 third place votes. So a lot closer in the American League and not nearly as dominant as it was in the National League.
Well, like I said, before, somebody's going to get the shaft, and Mr. Cowser got the shaft. But congratulations to Mr. Gill. So,
Okay.
hey,
Um,
while we're talking about MLB stuff, um, one of the things that popped up was potential Hall of Famers this year, and like who's on the cusp and who's going to be voted in, who's not going to be voted in, those kind of things. So right now, you got to have 75% to get in. Billy Wagner, the ex, Houston flamethrowing reliever, he had 73 point something. So you got to think he's going to pick up a few votes and he'll be in this year.
yeah, there's no
Then,
fucking way, right?
yeah, no,
No
you,
fucking way he doesn't
yeah,
make it.
you got to get him in there. But then you got some interesting guys coming up. First off is Mr. Ichiro, one of your former teammates, right?
Yeah, and a lot of people are asking this question. Will he be the second unanimous Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer? Will he?
I think that should be a no brainer. I mean, the batting average, 3,000 hits here, not even counting the hits that he had in Japan, and then just being the face of Seattle Mariners baseball for all of those years. I think that's without a shadow of a doubt.
And by no means am I going to compare what he did to, say, Jackie Robinson. Right? Like, it's not like he's breaking this big racial barrier, but it's hard, man. And
Yeah,
there are
yeah,
from right. There's never been a Japanese Hall of Famer before, and so
no,
you have him, Ichiro, coming in and having all of the hype on him the way it was, dude. That was heavy, and I just remember watching him and seeing the shit show that followed him around every day, and I thought
oh
it was
yeah, oh
miserable.
yeah,
Right? 30
yeah,
reporters from Japan watching his every move, all these expectations,
right.
yet he went out there and he more than fulfilled every one of them.
Right. You're absolutely correct because whether it's Japanese, Korean, whatever it might be that come over from they got such a loyal following that they are constantly hounded. I mean, constantly by the foreign media. And so I even had this talk with Jung Hoo Lee's interpreter. I said, look, I said, have Jung Hoo do all of this stuff in spring training, but once the season starts, this is over with. The shit show stops once the season starts because he's going to need to concentrate on his job and he ain't got time to go run all over the face of East Jesus and do all these interviews.
It'll be nice for the Giants to have him back next year,
Yeah,
right?
oh yeah. Oh yeah, because you just got a little taste right there, before you got hurt, but you could see kind of, the potential that's there. But the one thing that I really was bummed out about him, you know, having to miss the whole year was the fact that he wasn't exposed to the whole league and how's this team going to pitch him and how's that team going to approach him, stuff like that. So now he's going to come in year two and be on the job training again. So
By the way, Ichiro is a member of the 3,000 hit club, but his pro hit total soars past 4,000 when you include his career in Japan's Nippon Professional Baseball League, the
yep,
2001 Rookie of the Year and American League MVP. I mean, remember that. He burst on the scene in 2001 as not only the Rookie of the Year, but the MVP. He had 10 200 hit seasons. This is insane. Insane. 10 All Star selections, 10 Gold Glove awards, and he might become the second player unanimously selected to the first ballot Hall of Fame. He should be. I really hope a writer does not fuck this up. He
yeah,
is
no,
a Hall of Famer
yeah,
through and
no,
through.
yeah.
Everybody knows it. I don't think there's one member of the 3,000 Hit Club outside of the performance enhancing drug guys that
Put it this way: if you're a
are
member
not in
of
there.
if you're a member of the voting media and you don't vote for him, you're a moron, and you shouldn't even be in the sport. So there you go.
So
all right, next dude that we
Go
need
ahead.
to talk about. All right, big old fella, San Francisco, not a San Francisco, but California native, CC Sabathia, big member of the Cleveland Indians, not Guardian Indians, for a
correct.
long period of time, and then went over and then started doing some work for the New York Yankees. So there's good arguments here and there for him.
Yeah, I'd have to dig into the numbers here. It says Sabathia, 2009 World Series champion with the Yankees, one of the most reliable and productive starters in MLB history. 6-time All-Star who captured the AL Cy Young Award in 2007. He's one of 15 pitchers with at least 250 wins and 3,000 strikeouts. There you go. That's all you need to know.
I mean, there you go. And
Right?
on top of that, longevity too, because didn't he pitch like 18, 19 years, something like that?
Dude, he was there for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, a while. So, I think that he's definitely a Hall of Famer. Don't know if he's going to be the first ballot guy or not. Because I think Wagner and Ichiro are definitely more deserving.
Well, we got a couple other guys I think that we need to make sure get in. One of those is Andruw Jones, 61.6% last year. It says he's trending in the right direction, chasing that 75% threshold. Jones is a 10-time Gold Glove Award winner, hit 434 home runs. He's in his 8th year on the ballot. So I'd really like to see if he doesn't get in this year, that's got to jump to at least 70% in order for him to get in, right? Because this is 8th. Next year is 9th. And then 10th is it.
Yeah, no.
You got to believe he's going to do it. I just ran into him recently in San Diego.
And I actually talked with him. I went on a podcast. He was on a podcast, and so I had a chance to talk to him a little bit. But, he's got the homers. He's got the defensive ability, all that sort of stuff. His big thing, believe it or not, that's dragging him down is he was a 260 hitter. So that's the only thing that's dragging him down. Other than that, he's gold across the board.
If you look at the defensive metrics, they say he's the greatest defensive center fielder of all time.
He was pretty good. Pretty good.
Dude, he was so next level. Yeah. It was cool. Biscuit was there when I introduced him to him, and he was just. It's hard for me to get the ear of my kid these days.
Yeah, no, I get you.
He was listening to Andruw Jones like he was it, and he was it. And I
get it. So,
Joel Thompson says, didn't he recently hit a home run through a window of a building in some high school game in Japan? Yes, Ichiro did do that. This guy, I could tell you, I played with him for a short period of time. He's a fucking baseball lifer. He loves the game. He just wants to. He used to tell me, he's like, Byrnes, he's like, I'm going to play till I'm 50. 50. Like that. He's like, that was like 1,000% his thing. It's funny because he's probably 50 this year. So he's continued to play and go out there and do whatever. He was the most skilled baseball player that I ever played with, and it's not even close. Like I remember playing this game in spring training where it was like, okay, bunt to first base, right? Sacrifice bunt to first base. Cool. Sacrifice bunt to third base. Drag bunt, pull bunt to first base. Drag bunt to third base. Get the runner on second, no outs. Let's get him over. Runner on third, less than 2 outs. Let's get him in. Runner on second, 2 outs. We need a base hit here. Let's see what you can do. And he fucking executed. I think he was the only one in the entire Seattle Mariners organization that hit every one of them. And you only got one shot.
Yeah.
Right? So if I hit the bunt foul, I was done.
Yeah.
And you had to make it through. I think I probably got to the runner on second and no outs. But, dude, it was awesome awesome to watch. He would, and there's video evidence of this, but I'd be playing catch with him, and we take about, he was my throwing partner, and we take about, I don't know, 5-10 throws from 45 feet. Next thing you know, he's at 90 feet. 5-10 throws, that's it. Next thing you know, he's another 50 feet back, then another 50 feet back. Dude, he's at like 300 feet by the time everyone else was at 90 feet. And then he's running in, right? So we play this long toss. It's this amazing game of catch. And then as he's running in, we're firing the ball at each other. And I remember the first time he was coming in like pretty hot, and I'm like, okay. And I threw a dart right at him. He goes like this. Doo, doo, doo.
No.
Bro. Catch behind his back like that. I'm like, this guy's just living in
That's next level. That's next level.
Next level.
Yep.
So.
Well, all right. So we got all of that kind of squared away. Well, we're talking about, some MLB stuff. You know this guy really well. I know him really well. Randy Wynn got the head of. Well, no, take that back. He's not the head. Well, yeah, he is the head.
He is. It's player development.
He's the head. He's like the assistant to Kyle Haynes in the minor leagues for player development for the San Francisco Giants. And Randy has been doing quite a few things for the Giants over the year before it became, doing the post and pregame and all that sort of stuff. He was doing some stuff out in the field because, I'd go to some affiliates and I'd see Randy. So, just a super guy, great baseball mind, Bay Area guy, Giant for a period of time. And, so I'm pretty proud of Randy Wynn for getting that job in the organization. And, I'm looking forward to Randy and Kyle Haynes, kind of double teaming this effort of getting the Giants minor league system back to be one of the top minor league systems.
Yeah, I mean, these are guys that you're going to deal with, that you're going to report to, right?
Yeah, I'm going to deal with them on a everyday basis when I'm, seeing an affiliate. So yeah, I'll be talking to Randy and Kyle quite a bit.
How important is that job? Because I could really go back and look at the A's when I was there, and we had a guy by the name of Keith Littman, who was the head of minor league operations, player development. And he was the guy that if anybody asked me about the success of the Oakland farm system, I would always point to Keith Littman. And I would say, that's the fucking reason why.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, this guy pulled me aside from day one. It's like, Byrnes, you come with me. He's like, this is what I see. This is what I think you're going to work on. Let's do it. And he'd go and, I'm talking hour batting practice after, just relentless work ethic. Dave Hudgens was another guy who was a hitting guy there. Yeah. Ron Plaza, who was the old.
I know Ron Plaza, yeah.
Red third base, big red machine coat. Like, he was there. They just had the perfect blend of the new school and the old school and the fucking work ethic. And they developed their players really, really fucking well.
Yep. And, I know that Randy and I have had quite a few conversations, about, some of our minor league guys. Like I said, Randy was doing a lot of pre and post stuff with the big league team. And so the last few years, Kyle Haynes and I have been real close. So, it's good. It's good to have both of these guys in the organization because they are motivated to get it going in the right direction. So I'm looking forward to working with them both. And then also on top of that, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the bullshit that I saw in the minor leagues disappear pretty quick.
When you say that, what do you mean?
Patting guys on the back when they were horse shit. I mean, we had a second baseman that was letting the first baseman catch pop-ups. And I'm like, why are you letting the first baseman catch pop-ups? And he goes, well, he overrides me. And I go, excuse me? He overrides you. I go, you override everybody in the infield with the exception of the shortstop. I said, who the hell taught you that? And then he told me his coach in college. I said, well, your coach in college is a fucking moron. And so anyway, these are the kind of excuses that you would get, when guys would come back in the dugout, or you would go out on the field and work with a guy, and you're like, hey, it'd be a little bit better if you caught it like this and coming in on the ball instead of off to the side, and then you would get the excuse of, well, it's that's real comfortable to me. I don't give a fuck whether it's comfortable to you or not. You're making 20 fucking errors, you little moron. Fucking stay behind the ball and fucking play it off your chest, dickhead. Let's go.
Hey, bro. So one of the things you got to be careful of these days, and I'm serious, is being scared to coach. And
no. And that's sensitive. You hit the nail on the head. And we actually have a bunch of good dudes in our minor league system as far as coaches. But here's what happens when I come in, all right? And Byrnesy, I think I've told you this before, but I will legitimately tell them, and Josh knows this, I will legitimately tell them, look, I'm here for 6 or 7 days. You got to be with them for the whole, shooting match. You got to be their buddy. I don't have to be their buddy. So you need something said to one of these kids, you let me know what it is, and I'll go handle it. I'll make sure that message gets across. And and guess what? It's been a great partnership, with a lot of the minor league coaches, because I do take care of those little problems like that, whereas they can kind of stay out of it. And, when I come in, needless to say, I carry a little weight with me too sometimes.
I love that, dude. I will say that from my coaching experience, which I now I don't say a lot, but I've been doing this youth baseball thing for probably about 5-6 years now. I had the opportunity to coach, manage the Savannah Bananas, deal with guys on a daily basis. Obviously, that's a little bit of a different animal. But the one thing, at first, I certainly, especially because the kids were so young, like, I'm just so nice to everybody, right? Like, pat on the back and, hey, great job. Maybe you could do this a little different next time. And now that I have kids that are 13 years old, I hold them accountable.
Yeah.
And I let them know what my expectations are.
Yeah.
And when they don't meet my expectations, I tell them to sit the fuck down on the bench.
I like it. Hey,
I don't, bro. It's like the massaging of the egos and everything else. And also, all due respect to the participation trophies and everybody gets to play. We went to the All-State games, the National All-State games, and representing the great state of California. And I told the boys, I said, this isn't about you. This isn't about you guys getting your reps. Certainly has nothing to do with the name on the back of these jerseys. This is everything about the name on the front. Just the fact that you're here, you should be honored and think that this certainly is a privilege. Whatever you guys get from here is gravy. And I got those fucking kids to buy in, man.
Yeah,
and it was
I got
you. We were certainly not more talented than probably a dozen teams there, yet found our way all the way to the championship game. So it's tough, though, because this is a look at me generation, and everyone wants to get their reps and bullshit.
Hey, look, your lovely bride just jumped on. And she said it's the equivalent of wait till your father hears about this. Or as Tommy Luke and Tommy Aliotti and Josh and Big Mike know, because they've been around me so much, is the other equivalent is hold my beer and watch this shit.
I like it.
There you go.
I like it. No, it's true, man. But I just think that we went so far into this pussified generation where growing up in the 70s and 80s, like there wasn't, dude, this is pretty fucking cut and dry, right? Like it was pretty gnarly. And the lives we lived, and I can't be any more grateful for it. And then somewhere along the way, you had a bunch of people freak out and be like, oh, and we over-coddled our children. And it was probably the worst thing that has happened to society because you got a bunch of kids that were calling the fucking shots. And as I've learned and as I've done this, look, I love my kids and I love the kids that play for me, but I will certainly tell you, they will not run the asylum. The prisoners
No.
will not fucking be making the calls. And if they're not okay with it, if their parents aren't okay with it, I'm okay with them getting the fuck out. Does that make sense?
Oh, big time. Hey, you know what they're doing now? You know what they're doing now, these idiots? They're letting their agents call the coaches and the minor league directors and the pitching coaches and the managers. The agents are calling and telling the manager or whoever what the kid's supposed to hear, right? And my answer to, every one of the coaches that tell me about that is like, if he has any fucking balls whatsoever, he should come in and talk to you directly to his face. He doesn't need to have his freaking agent call you. What the fuck is the agent? He doesn't even play ball. He couldn't tell you what a slider is. All right. You come in here, you man up, you have some balls, and you come here and talk to me about it. So there we go.
That's true, man.
No,
Honestly,
yeah.
I'm not going to make this political, but if there's one thing that I do appreciate about Trump is that there's not going to be any bullshit,
No.
right? We're not dancing around. Like I'm not worried about your feelings. I'm worried about what's best for my fucking country.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what we're going to do.
no.
And this is what's best for the country. This is what we're going to do. We're not going to pussyfoot our way around shit. That's the same way you should run a baseball team. It's the same way you should run a business. What's best for the business? What's best for the baseball team? What's best for the country?
I know one thing. If I was, a minor league manager or a minor league coach for that matter, and I got a call from somebody's agent, I mean, just my personality. First thing I tell them is, first off, you need to lose my number. I don't want to ever talk to you again. And second off, you tell your client to come into my office, whether it be in the batting cage, out on the pitcher's mound, wherever it is. You tell him to come into my office and man up and talk to me like a man and quit hiding behind you and your little lawyer ideas. So piss on you. So
Paddleboard Mike might have just dropped the line of the night. He says, we're the members of the fuck your feelings generation.
yeah, remember what we talked about in the old Jersey retirement speech? No participation trophies, and that right there got one of the biggest round of applauses of the whole freaking thing. So,
Dude, I'll tell you what, we're learning, and I think so long as we as a society understand, because I do think there's some middle ground, right? Like there is a, hey, look, the kids are fragile, man. Like we gotta be careful to an extent, but at the same time, I do think, and it's, Tara and I, and she could tell you, she's sitting here on this chat. And thank you for actually tuning in one time. She says, I'm a card carrying member, is what she said to Mike in regards to the fuck your feelings generations. But it's like the kids. And we've had some recent discussions about this. We now have, Thrill, a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 15-year-old in the house. And a lot of times we've let them make decisions and call shots and whatever else. And the discussions lately between the two of us have been, look, you're the parent, they're the kid. We tell them what to do.
that's correct.
That's it. But when it comes to the phones, the screens, the routines, all of it, at some point, you got Bishop 5 more years here, Callie 4 more, Chloe 3 more.
Yeah.
When you're 18, you do whatever you want to do, and we'll make the decision whether or not to support the journey. But for now, we will tell you guys what our expectations are, and if you meet those expectations, we're good. And if you don't, the phone, for example, it's fucking gone. You will not see it. You will understand how we used to live, and we've done it several times. There was a run there. I'm not kidding you. Colton didn't have his phone for a month. Like it was a month that we
Hey,
took his phone away, and you know what? He learned how to be bored. He
hey,
learned how to entertain himself bored.
hey. Lisa and I had that discussion with Ella. Like, we were talking about, back in the day, we were talking about the rotary dial phone and the party line, and you didn't have voicemail. And she goes, "You didn't have voicemail?" I was like, "No." Well, then, what did you guys do? You had to call back.
Keep calling.
And she goes, "What?" And she goes, well, you couldn't save any numbers in the phone. And I go, "No." Well, how did you remember everybody's number? You had to memorize everybody's phone number.
Memory.
You had everybody's phone number memorized. I still have my phone number memorized when I was freaking 5 years old. And she goes, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah."
That's so good, dude.
So anyway,
Yeah, at 6'5", so 415-851-3888 was my phone number. But then I got my own personal line. That was the greatest day ever. And that was 415 still, because it was before we turned into 650. 415-851-7213. I mean, it was better for our memories than our brains. And
shit, yeah, it was.
I don't
Yeah.
know, man. Like, we're living in a world that we have so much assistance from fucking everything else. And as much as I love AI, and I think there is like part of AI that's actually really good and will really help this world, we humans were put on this earth to think,
Hey,
live, breathe.
in the next few days, Tommy and Josh and Big Mike and those guys are going to come to the ranch, and I got one or two guys that are pushing me to, do some internet stuff up at the ranch and get fiber optic and all that sort of stuff. And I go, "No," and they're like, well, why not?" And I go, "I come here to get a fucking way from that shit. I don't even use my phone. The only thing I use my phone for is call Lisa at night. Other than that, it's taking pictures of the stuff that either gets shot or projects that we're doing. That's it. I don't get on my phone at all. Sit and we as a generation, I mean, this thing right here, I mean, the youth of today, good Lord Almighty, they're hooked up nonstop. They need to get away every now and then. I just tell Trey, "You're not allowed to use it right now. We're going to listen to music or we're going to do something, while we're in the truck." So, he gets it too. But, it goes with you're saying. One thing that I do have to tell you and Tara, all right, and because, you were talking about, the kids and the ages and all that sort of stuff. And I have passed this message on. I know Tommy Luke knows, and freaking Tommy Aliotti knows better than anybody. But once they start driving, dude, mom and dad's taxi service ends, and you and Tara got so much more freedom.
Yeah, Tara especially.
Yeah,
She
that's
is.
what I said. Mom and dad's taxi service never ends.
I might will be an
until they
Uber
start
driver.
driving. Yeah, as soon as they start driving, and you're like, yes.
No, I certainly look forward to that. But when it comes to the phone, so the best way to put it is this, and this is why. So if you think about things that I've become obsessed with since I've played baseball, I got into triathlon, swimming, biking, running, whatever. Even podcasting. Yeah, well, pickleball for sure. Like, right? Like, we're gonna get there. But even podcasting, even doing this with you, like, I'm doing this with you, right? And we're doing a fucking podcast that is live on No Filter Network. We have chats firing, interaction, community, everything. We'll cut up clips, all the other bullshit later. It's going to go to 17 different platforms. But guess what? I haven't even fucking thought about looking at my phone. I like it. So do shit. Pickleball's the same way. Pickleball, like, I might put my phone off in the background to record shit, but I find things in my life, running, biking, swimming, pickleball, that separates me from that. And it allows me to completely immerse myself in what I'm doing, a conversation I'm having.
I totally get it, and I totally agree with you because you need that decompression. You need that time away. You don't need to have it freaking right there all the time. You need to enjoy your life and do what you want to do. And for you especially, you know, let's say pickleball. All right, pickleball for you is very similar to for me, like going to a shooting range. It like gets
100%.
it gets aggression
Totally.
out, and then after I get through, I'm totally relaxed, and I'm like, oh, there's Will again. There's not Will the freaking got 85,000 things going on. It's the same thing with you with pickleball, I'd imagine. You're out
It is.
there, competing like you normally did. When you're on a baseball field, you get off and you're like, man, that was awesome. I feel rejuvenated.
Bro, it's the truth. It's also why I enjoy my Tuesdays. I mean, I show up, I get a bottle
Yeah.
of Don Julio 70.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Little shout out to Giuseppe Pepe Manuele, my man. Don Julio 70.
Manuele. That's the second time Manuele got a little love today.
Pepe
Hey,
and I, for
Jojo.
whatever reason, we always share Don Julio 70. It's
Yeah.
just it's not this over expensive, over the top. It's a nice tequila, really,
Yeah,
really
no,
nice.
I get it.
We both feel like bang for your buck. It's one of the better ones for the cleaner, lighter, right? If you get in the extra anejos, it's just a shit ton of sugar and stuff
I
comes
get
into it.
it.
I want to be
I
able
get
to
it.
wake up at 5 in the morning, get on the fucking treadmill, have my mind ready to write the daily hustle, and then fire on here tomorrow morning and do a show and whatever else. But anyhow, yeah, dude. I look. I think everything is checks and balances in life, right?
Yeah, big time.
We go so far to the left, well, we come back to the right. It's that's how
Look,
life works. You go too far
look,
to the right, you're gonna come back to the fucking left.
agree.
It happens.
All right, look,
So it's
look.
about managing and balancing.
For sure. And then, we even talk about it. Tara's in here, talking about Chloe and their driver's license and all that. And, you have been so kind to, let Trey on the show and stuff like that. But Trey always finds something to give me every week to do the show. So this was what Trey gave me this week. It is at bat to strikeout ratio from 84 to 2004. So I just went through and I did the math, all right? Just because I know how much the game has changed, as do you, and how comfortable people are striking out. In 1984, it was almost, as a league, you're talking about American and National League, it was almost 7 at bats per strikeout. Okay? Now you fast forward to 2024. Now it's 30 teams. It's 3.8 at bats. So, in other words, you cannot finish out a full 9 inning games and get 4 at bats without striking out at least once.
They're like, that's not good.
That's not good at all.
I hate to say it, but that could be the demise of baseball.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
You want to talk about people detaching from the game. They're going to detach from the game because a ball is not put into play. So if all you're dealing with are walks and strikeouts, you know what that is? It's inaction. People want action.
Well, and then here's another one. All right. People want action. All right. Why do you think they like football so much? Or why do you think they like basketball so much? It's nonstop action. Okay. But in baseball, we have gotten complacent with not putting the ball in play and the other team not having to field the ball, catch a fly ball, whatever it might be. I mean, look at what happened to the Yankees in the final game. I mean, you want to talk about a freaking meltdown. I mean, a drop routine clank fly ball, a routine grounded to short that got thrown away at third, and then a thing that you cover every day in spring training, pitcher covering first base. We fucked that up. And then all of a sudden you look up, Dodgers score 5 runs and wound up winning the World Series. That World Series could still be going on if those plays were made. So anyway, But
You know
that's
what's
what
gonna be
happens
the bro,
when
I
you
got a
don't
question
put the
for you.
ball in play all the time. When all of a sudden it gets put in play and everybody goes, "Oh, geez, it got put in play. Oh, I'm scared now." No, you should be like normal.
So we might have touched on this the first week after the World Series, but somebody approached me yesterday. Fred was his name. Lives in Dana Point and has got a place at Homewood. And he was saying that he tunes into our show. He fucking loves it. And then we got into some baseball fundamentals. And we were talking about the Dodgers and the Yankees. And I mentioned to Fred, I'm like, dude, you won't even believe this, but the Yankees actually out hit the Dodgers in that series. And it wasn't by much. It was like, one team hit 212, the other was 206. Yankees hit 8 homers, Dodgers hit 7. Like it wasn't, and they were pretty equal. But if you'd watch the series and you showed me the offensive stats, you'd be like, oh, of course, like the Yankees either would have won or it would have been a tight series. Yet it was severely dramatic the other way, in which it seemed to me that the Dodgers dominated that series. And then we got into all of the little things, like the shit that matters that win baseball games. The same way I fucking preach this every single weekend I go and coach, whether
To
it was
12-year-olds.
team,
To 12-year-olds.
12-year-olds, exactly. Or last weekend with LTP, which we went into a 20-team tournament and dominated start to finish. And so, the question kind of was like, well, how are you guys able to do this? Like, are you that much better? And the answer to that is no, we're not. I promise you, we're not. We are good. We're really good. But there are other teams, certainly that were there last weekend, including the team we played in the finals. They were just as talented. Also, in all states, I don't even know if we would have been in the top 10 of most talented teams. So how do we get those guys to overachieve? I'm like, it's obsession with the details. The little things. Runner on second base, put a ball in play, figure out a way to get him over. Runner on third base, less than 2 outs. We need to figure out a way to get that guy in. Make an adjustment. Come up off the knob, tighten your swing. If you're normally here, let's tighten it here. Think about pulling the hands inside. Give them some things to help. Fundamentals. Make the play. Stay down to the ball. Stay through it. So, long story short, all this, he brings up Garrett Cole not covering first base and like, hey, can you believe it? I go, yeah. I said, well, look, Cole's explanation was he's trying to cut the ball off. He didn't cut the ball off. Then he looks. By that time, Mookie Betts has passed him. I said, I look at that play. I feel like it was more an Anthony Rizzo because the ball comes spinning at him. He does a good job because he's like, no matter what, I'm going to stay down, right? I'm not going to let it come up. And so he goes down, he stays down, catches himself back foot on his heels, and there was no way he was going to beat Mookie Betts. Once he decided, I'm going to stay down, secure ball, I'm on my heels, whatever. Well, dude, if he'd gotten on his toes, attacked the ball, fucking stuck his nose in it, he would have gotten and been able to run over to first base and tag it. Now, that said, I'm going to bring this back to Bill Buckner, who did the opposite. Bill Buckner's explanation for missing the ball between his legs was that he wanted to be able to get it and try to hurry to either get over to first base or get the ball over to first base, and it made a lot of sense. Now, in the conversation I was having with Fred, I also told Fred, look, Bill Buckner, it's the biggest bullshit in the history of sports ever, was that he got the fucking blame there. They already blew that fucking game. That game was already tied. He fucking tried to make a play. It didn't work out. They still had game 7. They blew a lead in game 7. Like, that was a complete and total fuck up by the Red Sox. It wasn't just Bill Buckner. The Bill Buckner play was one thing, but where's the happy median between that, right? Staying back and also attacking. It's tough.
Yeah. All right, let's go a different direction here.
Okay.
All right. And the reason that I'm gonna bring it up is because you are wearing a headset. There's a big, huge, whether anybody in the chat room knows or not, there's a big, huge shakeup in like KNBR right now.
Ooh.
They let go of Tom Tolbert, who Eric and I know really well. Been at KNBR for 28 years. Then they also let go of Lamont and Tonelli, the morning, co-hosts that have been at it for 35, 38 years, something like that. And, basically what's happening is it's not KNBR, it's their parent company, Cumulus Media, who's bailing out of everything. But it's kind of backfiring on them because they figure, all right, we get rid of Tolbert. He's the highest paid dude. Then we get rid of Lamont and Tonelli. They're being paid pretty good, and we'll save a little money. Well, in the meantime, like, I guess since they got shit canned, which was last Friday, Cumulus Media has lost probably around $750,000 to $1 million in advertising. People are like, if Lamont and Tonelli aren't there or Tolbert's not there, we're not advertising no more. So it's blowing up in Cumulus Media's face. So now KNBR is supposedly relocating, even though they're the flagship station of the Giants, are relocating to Levi Field down there with the 49ers. So I don't know what the fuck's going on.
If they're relocated, that's interesting because that means they're probably just trying to get out of their lease. I don't know much about it. I heard about Tolbert. That was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
He is everything that was Bay Area radio. Like,
yeah.
that's
Oh yeah.
That's what I grew up on. Like, this wasn't, it's a different vibe, and it's a little more slower pace in the Coast shock jock fucking shit.
Yeah.
But Tom Tolbert was a staple there. He represented everything that was right with having these discussions about whatever it was. Because, dude, what was so beautiful, I worked with him for an entire year right after they let go of Ralph. Here's a quick story without getting too far into it. Basically, they told me the day after they fired Ralph Barbieri, they're like, yo, we want you to go in and sit with Tolbert. Like, we want to put you guys together. I go, no fucking way. I'm not doing it. I said, you guys just, this guy's got Parkinson's. Like there's all these other fucking things going on. Bayer is up in storm, and you want me to go be there? I'm not fucking replacing Ralph.
Yeah, no.
If you want to set a few other guys in there first, or if you want to, mix me in down the road, like, I'm fine. But right now, I'm not going to be that dude. So anyway, I love Tolbert. Lamont Tonelli used to listen to him every day going to high school. Every fucking day, man. And then I had the chance to work with them when you and I did that event in Reno.
Yeah.
Fucking love them.
Yeah, they're awesome. Awesome dudes.
I love the fact that the advertisers got behind their back.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome too. And Pete even came on here and said, what about Murph and Mac? I know they kept one and fired another one.
They kept Murph, got rid of Mac.
They kept Murph, but they fired Mac. What was that? That was like was it during the season or was it last year? But they got rid of it. They broke up that team, who was together for a while. So, I mean, this is just that corporate bullshit, which is, if you're making too much money, they fire you and they bring in some rookie and they pay you right here instead of paying the guy who know what the fuck he's doing. And they lose that whole audience. They lose their advertisers. They lose everything. So, you know what? Cumulus, you made your bed. Sleep in it, bitches.
So I will tell you this. I had already planned to reach out to Tom. I wanted to let the dust settle a little bit. But I want to give him every opportunity to create on No Filter if there's something that he wants to do.
And I think that'd be a great thing for him.
Oh, we'll support the journey, man. Like, here, just come on here, create, do your show. We'll upload it to all the platforms. We'll help you get the advertisers. And that's it. Like, it's, that's the beauty of what we do. It's, it might take a minute to build up to the big dollars he was making.
Yep.
But at the same time, you got to start somewhere, and it's a lot.
You're not going to make the big dollars you were making, but if you want to cut up, have some fun, mess with people in the chat room, like, a perfect example is like Wes. Wes just came on there and said, "Does anybody know how to hit them where there ain't anymore?" Well, that's what I tell these kids when I show up. I'm like, what are you trying to do during batting practice? Well, trying to take my hands and trying to take my elbow and all. I go, and they look at me and they go, what would you try to do? I go, I'm trying to hit it where nobody's standing. There's a lot of like green grass out there where nobody's standing. That's where I'm trying to hit it. I said, you're worried about everything except the baseball. And so, you try to pass these kind of, things along, and they're like, well, how did you learn that, Coach Will? I said, yeah. I said, I learned it from a guy who had way more hits than you ever thought of hitting. His name is Tony Gwynn. He's probably arguably one of the best that's ever been. I had a chance to spend a lot of time with him at first base because we couldn't get the fucker out. I said, and he told me that. So I'm passing that along from an 80-time batting champion. So maybe you need to pay attention, dipshit.
They hit them where they ain't. Dude, I tell our kids all the time, especially on the bases, I go like this, like, one out, check your outfielders. And you see all the space out there. Yeah. And as a hitter, there were times where, I'd be lining out and I'd be hitting the balls at fucking guys, and, whatever. I would before I step in the box, I just look out, take a deep breath, and I'd look at all the green grass in the outfield. Yeah. And then I'd just get in. Yeah. And I wasn't trying to hit a specific spot, but I put that last thing in my head was a fuck ton of green grass.
I love it. That's freaking awesome. So this is all right. So this is kind of my approach. All right. I'm off the plate. I'm closed up. A lot of guys threw me away, tried to backdoor stuff, all that. Right. So walk up to home plate, get in there, smooth out the batter's box, because I wanted to know where my feet landed. I didn't want to know where the guy before me was. All right. And the reason that I wanted to know that, I wanted to know if I was overstriding. All right. If I was overstriding, I needed to stride less. And so I'd smooth it all out. Second thing, as you probably did, Eric, I don't know your routine, but I dig a little bit of a hole in the back, not a freaking trench. I dig just a little bit of a hole to get a little toe touch, a little foothold in there, right? I back out the batter's box, and as soon as I backed out the batter's box, first thing I did was pick my head up, and I'm looking at the center fielder. If he's on the left center field side, and then I look at the right fielder, and he's in right center, I know they're pitching me away. So I get back in the batter's box, and I get closer to the plate. Now the ball that's out on the outer half is out over the plate, and I can yank some shit and beat the shift.
That's fucking brilliant.
Okay? So now, and it's vice versa. If you look at the center fielder, and he's on the right field side, and the left fielder's moved over, well, all right, they're going to pitch me in. So I back off the plate, and I look in and try to beat him there.
Holy shit, man. I can't believe I never did that.
And it was, you came in to the league a little bit later, and this was talked about all the time. Whereas it kept dying off and dying off. Now nobody talks about it. I mean, if you go to Oracle Park, everybody that's in the chat room, y'all go to Oracle Park. Watch how many right fielders go play over there in triples alley. They want to cut the triple off. All right, you want to cut the triple off. I'm going to move up on the plate. I'm going to stand on top of the plate, and I'm going to hook some shit down the right field line, and I'll have a double all day long.
All day long.
Wow,
man. I like that. That's next level shit. I mean, you look out there, the guys playing you in right center, they're obviously trying to throw you away. And I was more of a pull hitter. Typically, like I do remember whenever I'd see a guy at right center, I'm, what the fuck is that guy doing there? Yeah. Right? Because all my balls are going to left center anyway. So I don't think anyone ever played me there. But when they did, that obviously would be like, I'm going down away. I could hook some outside shit. Like I could take a ball that was the way and still hit it the other way. But for you, that was more of a pure hitter. That used the entire field.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that's the thing. People would ask me, like a perfect example. All right. in 1989, my second at bat against Greg Maddux in Game 1, I hit a 3-2 changeup that I was looking for, by the way. And it was down and out of third of the plate, and I hooked it out of right center. And everybody goes, how did you hook that ball? Well, I had moved up on the plate because I was looking for that freaking changeup away. So now the ball away became out over the plate, and I could hook it to right center. You know?
Yeah, the only question is, were you looking for Santa Claus to make a late appearance on our show before we?
I knew he was coming. I knew he just keep your shirt on, goddammit. All right. And you ain't taking your shirt off at the ranch, too, motherfucker. All right.
Here's
What
my
the
shirt.
fuck is that?
Oh, yeah. I see what you got working.
What is it?
I see what you got working.
I got one for you, Will. I got one for you.
Wear it. I will wear it very nicely. Thank you.
When you guys going to the ranch next week?
Thursday.
Come on.
Swear to God. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna have fiber internet hooked up while I'm there, and I'm also gonna have one of my buddies has a hotspot in his truck, so I'm bringing my iPad. We're doing a show on Tuesday.
Let's fucking go, baby.
Yeah. From the ranch, baby. From the ranch.
Battleborn, what's up, dude? I like your comments tonight. This is your best chat session that you've had in a while, man.
Oh, well, thank you, man. Thank you. Hey, I got a quick one. You guys were talking Ichiro earlier. So I got to I took a buddy of mine. It was either 04 or 05 to opening day. He was just recovering from cancer. Huge A's fan. And we went to opening day, and it was Seattle. And Ichiro was there. Watching that guy take batting practice was fucking mind blowing. Dude, he started off and just he hit a few balls, and then he hit one over first base, hit one where second base plays, hit one over second base, hit line drives, hit one where shortstop would play, hit one third. Then he did the same shit with home runs. Boom, 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 boom. And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
This guy's a freak.
Yeah. Freak. Yeah. And that's what Byrnesy and I have talked about in the past, because not only did he say Ichiro could do it, but I sat there a few times and watched Wade Boggs do it. He'd have a few base hits here, a few base hits here, a few base hits here, and then his teammates would give him a little grief, and he'd go freaking in the bullpen like 5 times in a row. And you go, okay, and he goes back to hitting them off the wall again. It's like, and Ichiro's that kind of freak,
Yeah, the guy was a freak. I mean, next level, and I hope he is a unanimous ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
he earned it.
Agreed.
He definitely earned it.
While we're talking here, and we were talking, you and I just now at Byrnesy, we were making, kind of observations on how to move around the batter's box and all that. Wes even brought it up, and I love this. I absolutely love this, because somebody asked Pete Rose what adjustments he made. He goes, I make 4 adjustments. He goes, I move closer to the plate or further from the plate. He says, I move closer to the pitcher or further from the pitcher. Those are the 4 adjustments I make.
Isn't that incredible?
I'm like, is that is, as far as a hitter goes, I'm like, holy cow, thank you. Somebody finally said it, It's like about time.
It's simple. Yeah.
But it makes sense.
Yes.
It makes sense unless you try to freaking complicate the shit out of it. And that's why, you and I, Byrnesy, were just talking about it. It's not about where your shoulder is or your hands are or your feet are and all that. Dude, once he lets it go, 1,000% of my concentration is on that little white thing that's coming at me. I could care less about the rest of the shit. I am worried about that white thing. That's it.
It's just where the fucking ball is.
Boom.
Where's the fucking ball?
Boom.
Where are you and where's the ball?
Boom. And guess what? If the ball's out there, I'm going that way with it. Ball's in here, I'm going that way with it. That kind of shit.
Yeah. Battleborn, any final words tonight? I got Tara and the kids screaming downstairs.
Dinner! Vision, Tara.
Yeah, thank you, honey. What is first spelling? I wanted to smoke some shit tonight, man, but she wouldn't let me.
Hey, I know what you can smoke. I know what you can smoke. You can smoke some fucking bear meat when he gets in your house again, you dumbass.
Exactly.
I ain't pulling the trigger on that thing.
Well,
I feel like if I felt like it was gonna get me or one of my kids, I just comes in.
Here, it's gonna get me or one of my kids, but I'm videoing the shit.
Oh yeah,
Turn around.
I'll get a
Run,
fucking
you
great
dick.
video.
oh shit. All right, so
I'm sorry, Battleborn. Finish up what you're gonna say.
it's all good. Hey, Burns, I know you're a football guy. I know you're a Bills guy. I really liked watching the Bills stomp a mud hole in Patrick Mahomes' asshole the other night.
Bro,
But
dude, that was the worst 9-0 team in the history of the NFL. You know that, right?
absolutely.
And
Yeah,
they're
and
not
you know,
terrible, but they're not a 9-0 team. They should have lost fucking like 3 or 4 games already.
Agreed. But if you notice my hat, this is the next Super Bowl champion right here.
I know. They might be. They're that good.
You know what? Been a fan since '89, and it's been a lot of rough years. So I'm happy to see the Lions actually playing well. Well coached, well planned.
They have been playing well. That's awesome.
Who you like? The Saints, Thrill?
That's the only team I follow, but they're crappy down here. That they lost 7 in a row under the guy Allen. They fired him. Now they won 2 in a row.
Yeah, they got Taysom Hill, who I had on my fantasy team.
Oh, dude, I love him. I
love him too, and he fucking he just had a monster game.
Did you start him? No. Did you start him?
The fuck no. No, I had him on my fantasy team.
I drafted him
for weeks.
I drafted him and I cut him a few weeks ago. And then I watched
probably what you did. I just no fucking way I started Taysom Hill.
Oh, and I watched that. And I was like, "Yep, that's why I drafted that guy. I just didn't keep him."
At least it made us feel good for drafting him, right?
Oh yeah, we were smart. We were the right ones. We had the right choice.
Hey, since you're up in the mountains in Truckee, what's the temperature up there right now?
The fucking freezing balls.
It's probably like 17 or 18.
12 degrees this morning.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was 16 here in Reno.
Yeah, we're still in the 80s. I know. Big Mike, who were you talking to earlier where y'all said the front's coming through?
Pete.
Yeah,
right. we got big.
You and Pete got a big front coming through. It's going
big shit coming through.
And then we got. All right, check this out, Burnsy. We got a cold front coming through. You know what it's going to be this weekend? Highs in the 60s, lows in the 40s. That's our cold front, baby. Woo!
Well,
we can hunt flip-flops and freaking shorts.
We got 37 inches of snow coming in. This is a sporting thrill.
Oh, my God. Oh, you're at it again? Bare shirted?
14 degrees. That is some serious cold exposures trying to sell some books and footboards, man.
Oh, my God.
Go to ericburns.com, by the way. If you need a footboard, you let them playbook, parenting coaching guide to use sports, a Daily Hustle mug right there, or the F It list, or the Daily Hustle 222.
Tara, I love you, but he's doing it just to get his nipples hard. I swear to God, that's why he's doing it.
Bro, you guys want to know something funny? I used to hate, and you guys might wife this. I used to hate when anybody touched my nipples. It used to be the most sensitive part.
Hey. Until a fucking turtle bit
it. And I've never been the same since.
No, you haven't.
I fucking love it.
The turtle screwed your nipples.
Oh, in the most beautiful way possible. And now I can't.
Was it you and Credelli? Was that who it was?
Yeah.
Oh, God. You two freaking retards.
Oh yeah, no. I was just an observer. I wasn't playing the game.
Oh my God!
All right, I gotta go. Hey, Battleborn. Final words.
Good talking to you guys tonight. Will, I'll see you on Thursday, and see ya.
See ya. Bring an appetite.
You don't fucking say see ya.
Bring an appetite.
Get the fuck out of here. I hear like he's.
He tries to be the host now. He ain't the host. Get the fuck out.
Awesome. You know, I'm fired up for next week. Is it going to come from the ranch next week?
Yeah, we're gonna come from the ranch next week. Hey, we it was before you got on here. You know, we at one point we had 16 people in the chat room. It was fired up. So thank you for everybody in the chat room, man. It was awesome reading y'all's comments tonight and jumping on some of that stuff. It was a lot of fun.
Tell a friend, leave a review, 5 stars if you're feeling generous. It really does help, Thrill. I know you sent me a thing where someone had left 5 stars, wrote a little comment last. Like, look, this helps us. It really helps the pod. It gets it moving, and it will allow us to continue to keep doing this shit. Again, like we really appreciate the love that we can get in any way. Linda, thank you. Joel, Wes, Josh, Victoria. I mean, we had Ted was on here.
Tommy, we had all kinds of Linda, Nora. We had everybody in here.
Right? Gene, as always,
Ted,
Tommy, Lou.
Ted joined too. Thanks for jumping on there, Ted, with us. Appreciate
Nora. Fuck. I mean, it's just going. I mean, I'm trying to scroll back through the chat. It takes like.
Yeah, no, you did good. But I mean, hey, look, you know, like we said, just keep inviting people. You know, if they don't want to jump in the chat room, you know, Spotify and Apple and all the rest of the crap. So.
And then when we come out with clips, if you guys could share them, we appreciate it. I put one up today, the start bench cut, right before we came on of Wade Boggs, George Brett, and Mike Schmidt. Like that's the type of stuff. Like we live for this shit. That's so cool.
Well, hey, you know what? That was something we started last weekend. We did one again this weekend. We got to do one next week. We got to keep it going. But you know what we need to do? We need to change positions. That's what we need to do. Change positions and then go from there. And
what
then
do you mean?
I'll do my picks and then you do your picks and see if they match.
Well, you give me okay. Next week, my mind has just come up organically. See, we were talking about third base, but we were talking about all the great third base from the 70s and 80s, and those three came up. So I'm like, start bench shut. Tonight, I didn't pre-plan this, but we started talking about your managers, and all of a sudden we had 3 of them. I'm like, start bench cut.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So if you come up with something for next week, if you want to think about it, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
I'm not going to tell you. Guess who I am going to tell? Trey Clark. And Trey Clark will come up with a list for you.
Oh, Trey will come up with a bunch of start bench.
Oh, you know he will.
Dude, we could play this game the whole fucking show.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, we could have a ball. And you know what we could do? We could do, like, if you really wanted to get into it, do decades.
Yeah.
Do like 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s.
The beauty of this show, Thrill, is we can do whatever the fuck we want to do. So, everybody have a fantastic week. Back on next Tuesday. Thrill live from legit backwoods. I think this is Mississippi, man.
It is Mississippi, and it's called the Double Deuce Tree Farm, baby.
AKA butt fuck nowhere.
And I'll still have service, and you're still going to break up.
On that note, daily hustle tomorrow morning. Don't forget that. And as far as the Deuces Wild crowd, we'll see you next week.
See ya.
See ya.